Today, let's play one of my favorite packaged card games, Skip-O. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to Playing Games. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Skip-O is short for Don't Skip Liking This Video, Broham. Skip-O is a shedding-style card game, meaning players take turns playing cards from their hand in a specific sequence in order to get rid of all of their stockpile cards. The first player to shed all of their stockpile cards wins. This is done by playing cards in ascending building piles in a numerical order using Skip-O wildcards to fill in the gaps of the sequence. Don't worry, I'll show you. Skip-O is a card game that is played with a deck of 162 cards, which includes 12 sets of cards numbered 1 through 12 and 18 Skip-O wildcards. First things first, each player gets 30 cards that they do not look at. If you're playing with 5 or 6 players, deal each player 20 cards for their stockpile instead. So this pile of 30 cards that we each get is our personal stockpile. The object of the game is to eliminate this stockpile to get it to 0. The next thing you do is you hand out 5 cards to each player. These 5 cards will be our in-hand cards. We can look at these cards. We cannot, however, look at our stockpile cards, but we do flip over the topmost card. I have a 6 here, and my opponent has a 2. The remaining cards go in a community draw pile, which goes here. You can't see them right now, but there will be 4 more available spots for me to play cards in, here and in the community middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these cards will be very important because that's how we play the game. First things first, to play a card, you have to create piles of ascending numbers, 1 through 12. Now, if I were to go first, I don't have a 1 here to start a pile, so I can't get rid of any of my cards. I do, however, have a Skip-O. It's just a wild card and can be used to replace any other card you need. Generally, you might want to hold on to your Skip-O card, but I'll play it here just to start things off. So that would be a 1. So if I have a 2, I can play a 2 there. I don't have a 2. I don't have another 1. My turn is now over. If you can't play a card to the middle, your turn is done. Ideally, I want to play cards from my stockpile here because I want to get rid of this stockpile. This is the most important thing, is to get rid of these 30 cards. I can't get it there. I need to get it up to a 5, and once there's a 5 down there, I can play the 6 on top of it. To end play on your turn, you must put a card in your personal discard. There will be 4 possible personal discard spaces, here, 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 and here. I'm going to put a 12 down in my personal discard, and then that leaves me with 3 cards. So on my next turn, I'll re-up to 5 cards by taking 2 more cards from the community draw pile here. So my turn is now done. I put down my card. I've indicated my turn is over. The next player plays. Play continues clockwise, and if a player starts their hand with less than 5 cards, they take new cards from the draw pile until they have 5 cards. They then begin their turn. They're in a great position here because they have a 1 right away. They can play that here. A rule of thumb in Skip-O is that you want to play this card before you play any of these cards because you don't know what's under here. There might be a card that you can play right away under here. So since there's a 1 there, vis-a-vis the Skip-O, they'll play their 2 on top of that Skip-O. And then they'll draw the next top card here. They have a 5. They can't get to a 5 right away, but like I said, the preference is to eliminate these as quickly as possible. So they could play this as a 3, and this is a 4. And now they can play their 5. They flip over the next card, a 3. Also great for them because they can play their 1, their 2, and now their 3. So they've eliminated 3 Skip-O cards from their personal stockpile. And look at this, they have another Skip-O. So they could start another pile here, 1. Flip that over 5. Now they could have done it in a different way, but since they have the 1 here, they can play that. And guess what? They've played all 5 cards out of their hand. They get a bonus. Now they get to draw up 5 more cards and continue their play. It is only possible to draw more cards if you play all 5 cards. If your 5th card was instead discarded and not played, you do not get to continue playing on that hand. So they'll do that. Okay, so they want to get back up to a 5 here, a playable 5 here. And they can do that with this Skip-O card right now. So that's a 4. And this becomes playable as a 5, 7. Well, now they're stuck because they don't have a spot for a 7. They would need a 6 there to continue this. Can they do anything else? Well, they have a 1. There are no more 1 spots. Remember, there are only 4 possible playable spots in the middle, and they're all taken now. They can't do the 9 because there would need to be an 8. Likewise with the 11, they can't do because they need the 10. So their turn is now over. So to complete their turn, they will have to discard a card. They put down their 11 in one of their 4 possible discard piles. So it's getting cluttered. You kind of need to know what's what. In the middle, you have the ascending rows that we can all play off of, and you have the community draw pile. The next set here is our personal discard piles. There can be up to 4. And then we have our personal stock piles here. And these are very important because we want to eliminate these. And these will be face up so both players can see. So now on my turn, I take 2 more cards to get up to 5. I know that if I put this 6 down, I will help my opponent by having a spot for 7 with them. And I do want to get rid of my stockpile card, so I immediately play that 6. Look at that, I'm in luck, a 7. So I can place this 7 here, which helps me by getting rid of one of my stockpile cards, and it also prevents my opponent from playing theirs. I have another 7. So what I have here is a Skippo card. I can play that on the 5, and now that becomes a 6, 7. Flip over this. Well, that's great. Skippo card. I can sort of think about what I might want to do with this, because if I play it as, I don't need to play it as 8 or 9. I can do that here. This is a 1. I can play this on top of here to make it a 2. So if I get a 3, I can play that. I have a 6 instead, though. So I can also play the 8 on the 7, then the 9 on the 8, and that's about it. That I would need a 3 to play this 4. And so then I can put one of my cards in the discard, my personal discard pile here. And that's the end of my turn. I placed a card down in discard. That indicates my turn is over. The next player can go. The game will continue like this until we get to our last stockpile card. And if I can play that out like I could here on this 6, I would be the winner because I'm out of my stockpile card. A couple other things. What happens when you get to 12 in the middle here? So if you get to 12 in one of these piles here, you've gotten all numbers 1 through 12. You take this and you put it into the discard on the side here. And then you can resume playing to the middle with a new one. Another thing to be aware of, if you run out of the community draw pile, the game isn't over. You just take the discard cards and shuffle them back up and make them the new draw pile. And what about your 4 discard piles? If you can't play a card from your stockpile or your hand, you can use the topmost card in each of your 4 discard piles. You can play as many discard cards as you'd like too. The only rule is that you must use the topmost card of each of those 4 piles. If a card is buried, you cannot use it until the card above it has been used. A good strategy is if you have a number that's already discarded, throw that on top of it so it doesn't get buried. Because once you put another card on top of a discard, if I need that 12, I won't have access to it. So keep numbers the same. If I'm going to discard another card, maybe I would put the 4 down. And that's about it. I love Skippo, although I generally prefer games that use non-specialized decks rather than a deck like this, simply because you can play many more games with them. However, Skippo is a game with a lot of replay life in it. I'd say it has more replay than some other specialized decks. This game is a favorite in our house, but let me know what you think. Please comment, like, and subscribe to help this channel grow. Also help support the hard work that goes into these videos by digitally donating. You are great. See you next time on Playing Games.